What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off the charts are showing and based off the data is suggesting. I'm also going to give you guys some details involving NIO's latest delivery report. There is some more data that needs to come out, but I want to just talk about the latest numbers and why on earth NIO absolutely killed it and actually broke many expectations from Wall Street. Now, before I break anything down about this, before I talk about why I'm still very bullish for the long-term future of NIO, but for the short term, we could see more potential downside. I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. The best part is, any could be a free NIO share, a free Tesla share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. Offer ends in 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So, looking at NIO, we're up 1.22% for the day on Friday. A little bit green in the after hours too, and I do anticipate we could see a slight push to the upside back to these very key chop zones. However, I am still more bearish for NIO, at least for the super short term. This is kind of like what my projection was over the last couple of videos. And I do anticipate more downside to come for NIO overall. So I am anticipating a small bounce followed by some more downside after that. I'm going to show you guys exactly why I think that's very likely. So right now, the fear and greed index is still extremely fearful for the markets in the USA. This will have an effect on NIO as it affects the QQQ, the NASDAQ, the SPY, and a lot of sellers are still coming in as many people are panicking in this market as there's been a lot of talk about a crash and so on and so forth. It's also important to note that the Fed has another meeting to be coming up at 11:30 a.m. on Monday. So with that said, it's going to be basically closed. It's a closed meeting, but we could actually hear a lot of important things coming from it. So, with that said, because the Fed has this very important meeting coming up, I do believe that the Fed will actually make other announcements going forward for the week, and this could cause more downside for the markets. Additionally, when you look at this trend during midterm elections, we have a tendency of seeing the market come down like this, and we actually tend to capitulate around the month of October and get a big bounce. I do believe we're going to see a difference this year, and that is in October we could see more potential downside before we see a big capitulation phase and a big bounce approaching the midterm elections. So I still think that's likely to come, but it may take a couple of weeks for us to see this phase step in. So please be ready for that. Additionally, for SPY, we are seeing a lot of people loading up on the put side, lots and lots of institutions and retail. So that does open some potential for the Fed. Not the Fed, I'm sorry, the market makers. The market makers to start manipulating options chains and actually push markets up a little bit near the end of this week. Now, does that guarantee that this is going to happen? Not really, but it is possible. And I just want to let everyone know that it's a possibility. So for NIO, what's going on right now? NIO may be on a bit of a downtrend, but there is a big piece of news that came out that could actually cause maybe a small reversal, a temporary reversal, before we do continue from there. And that is the fact that right here, NIO provided their September and third quarter 2022 delivery update. And we could see they delivered 31,000 vehicles in 3 months, ending September 2022. That's a 29.3% increase year over year. Excuse me, guys. And that's actually a record high quarterly deliveries for them. That's a total of 249,000 vehicles delivered in total. Now, I don't want to go into full details about these numbers. They did actually beat expectations, which is fantastic. They have a new record in that 3-month period. But the reason I don't want to go into all the details is I'm still waiting for NIO's Twitter page to actually give us an update on deliveries, because they haven't posted that just yet. It may take a couple of days because it was a weekend. And I really want to see what they actually post. I want to actually do the comparisons of the charts maybe tomorrow if it comes out by then. That's why I'm going to wait a little bit to go into more details. I think their graphics are very useful once they actually come out. So far, at the time of recording this, it has not come out yet. So that's the reason why I'm going to wait on that video. But for now, instead of going into the full details of deliveries, I want to talk about how this could affect the share price. So we have a new record high for deliveries for the third quarter. They killed it for that. So we could see a small bounce in NIO share price because of that. So what you'll notice is We got a small bounce off that 15.21 level. And after that, NIO was coming down a bit, but we're starting to push up a little bit in the after hours. We have the potential, in my opinion, to come down. Come up to this like 6.5 to 6.6 level. Right here, we're going to see lots of chop, and we have resistance up here. Get a break above that. And if we get to that 17 range, we're most likely going to fill the gap up here. It's about 17.33 before we see more potential downside a little bit later, in my honest opinion. So, what are the two likely possibilities? What could happen, in my opinion, is tomorrow NIO could push up to about 16.12, push up a little bit more, just like this, and enter this chop zone. Now, this is not necessarily like a major move to the upside. It's only like 80 cents up compared to where we are. I expect some chop around here. I don't know if we're going to continue to push from here. We could get rejected, guys, or we could push up. And if we do push up to like 17, we are likely going to fill the gap up here before we see more potential downside. Once again, it's very hard to tell exactly what's going to happen. The whole market is still continuing to drop. The SPY is making new lows. The Nasdaq's making new lows. I already broke this down on Friday when it comes to like SPY, Nasdaq, and all that. So for NIO, the more bullish possibility would be we kind of like push up from here. Maybe like by the next day or later, we get a big push to about 17.5. Then we get a huge rejection off that. And then we continue to kind of like come down from there, just like this, right? Very, very possible. All right. This is just one hypothetical example. This would be like the next day afterwards if we get a big push like that. If NIO does not have the momentum to push up like that, what could happen is we get a small push into open. Very possible, guys. NIO enters this chop zone. If we're really bearish, it's going to come down. It's going to fail to get that big gap fill, the big push, and we're going to come all the way back down after another rejection to about 5.5. Come down, retest 5.21, maybe make the new lows, right? Very, very possible for a move like this to happen, right? So, what's more likely to happen? Honestly, guys, it's about 50-50 at this point. Both of them are very possible, but I'm a little bit more optimistic because NIO's deliveries were really strong, guys. I was very impressed. And they did manage to actually close green on Friday, so I wouldn't be surprised if NIO actually does this. Get a bit of a push up, a gap fill in this like 17.3 zone, followed by a big rejection and us coming down a little bit after that. I think that's very likely, but in order for us to do that, we have to watch this 16.5 zone. Sorry about that. This 16.5 zone right here. We have to watch that very carefully. And we have to make sure NIO gets a break of that if we truly want to fill that gap. Because if we don't, we're likely going to see a big rejection. All right. So these are the two most likely possibilities. This is most likely going to happen, in my honest opinion. And if we can't get a big break because the whole market is tumbling, then please be prepared for this possibility right over here. So, anyways, what do I want you also to know? And that is support and resistance levels. 16.12, 16.5, 16.83, 17, and 17.5 are all resistance levels. But if NIO does end up tumbling down, remember 15.5, 15.21, and followed by 14.74 are all going to be support zones. So watch those very carefully. With that said, guys, watch your indicators very carefully. NIO did very well on deliveries. I will make a more in-depth video if we get the better like graphs that typically come out on their Twitter page. I'm still waiting for them. And I want to let you know that NIO is still a very strong company fundamentally. Right now, the market is not moving on fundamentals, which is why it's down. But for the long term, I'm still very bullish. It's very bright, so don't let this get the best of you. Remain calm, cool, and collected. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is bright, and peace out.